Redistricting is the process of redrawing legislative and congressional districts. Done right, this process ensures that districts have equal populations and that legislative bodies are, in the words of John Adams, a miniature of the people as a whole. However, too often, the current redistricting process allows incumbent politicians to help partisan allies, hurt political enemies, and choose their voters before the voters choose them. Today we look at the latest redistricting news in 4 states: Ohio, Tennessee, Kansas, and Florida. The Ohio Supreme Court struck down both the legislative and congressional redistricting maps as unconstitutional, sending the matter back to the Redistricting Commission to make another attempt. The majority, made up of the 3 Democratic justices and Republican Chief Justice Maureen O'Connor, found that the GOP drew a congressional map infused with undue partisan bias. In doing so, the General Assembly blatantly violated a voter-approved constitutional amendment that was meant to limit partisan gerrymandering. Despite the adoption of Article 19, the evidence in these cases makes clear beyond all doubt that the General Assembly did not heed the clarion call sent by Ohio voters to stop political gerrymandering. The legislature created districts in which undue political bias is at least, if not more likely, to favor Republican candidates than the 2011 reapportionment that impelled Ohio's constitutional reforms. The court noted that despite receiving 53% of the vote in statewide elections, experts determined the new congressional map favored Republicans for 80% of the seats. It is important to note that Ohio already contains some of the most gerrymandered districts in the country, courtesy of the Republicans in charge of the previous redistricting process. Take a look at District 11, for example, or District 3. Furthermore, it is fairly easy to create a map that reflects the partisan breakdown of the state. Compare the Republicans' proposed 2022 map to a hypothetical map that reflects Ohio's popular vote totals. This is Davidson County, Tennessee, home to Nashville. For nearly 150 years, Davidson County has been united as part of the 5th Congressional District. It is home to over 800,000 people, nearly 40% of whom are minorities. Despite the city's common culture and values, the Republican-controlled legislature decided to split it into thirds, diluting the power of its voters. Under the new map, Nashville is split up and drawn into the 5th, 6th, and 7th congressional districts, capturing conservative areas in order to weaken the Democratic vote of the city. House Minority Leader Karen Camper, a Democrat from Memphis, tried to push a motion Wednesday to table the map, calling for more time to review the proposed districts. This is the first time we've seen the map. I understand you're saying there's been conversation about it, but with whom, I don't know, Camper said. No one in the Democratic leadership has seen or talked or had a conversation about this map until this very moment. There are currently only 2 Democrats in the state's congressional delegation: Representative Steve Cohen, of the 9th District, and Representative Jim Cooper, of the 5th District. If the new map is enacted into law, Cohen will likely be the only Democrat representing Tennessee at the federal level, giving Republicans 8 out of the state's 9 House seats. The damage this map does to the political influence of minority groups in Nashville is devastating, Cooper said. Our robust, diverse communities in Nashville are represented and affirmed in Washington, D.C. today when Nashville has its own voice in Congress. That voice is silenced when we are colonized by outlying rural communities. What Republicans could not win in local elections, they are stealing through gerrymandering. Like in Tennessee, Kansas Republicans are also targeting the state's major metropolis, chipping away at Kansas City's Democratic stronghold. The Senate Redistricting Committee approved the so-called Ad Astra map on Thursday. Upon the House Redistricting Committee's vote, the map will need to be endorsed by both legislative houses. Kansas City, with the highest minority population in the state, was kept together in the 3rd District by the courts during the 2010 redistricting cycle. Consequently, the 3rd District is the state's only blue seat, though not by much. Representative Sharice Davids defeated her Republican challenger by 10 percentage points in 2020. The Ad Astra map would lop the northern half of Kansas City off from the 3rd District, drawing it into the conservative area north and east of the city. The new 3rd District is then redrawn to capture more rural, conservative voters south of the city, diluting the impact of Representative Davids' voters. Senate Minority Leader Dinah Sykes said Republicans ignored the feedback given to lawmakers during town halls last year, when residents asked them to keep the greater Kansas City metro area in the same district. She said the map won't pass muster because of the way it divides minority groups. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis injected himself into the ongoing redistricting process last week, proposing his own hyper-gerrymandered congressional map for the legislature to consider. Compare the previous decade's map on the left to DeSantis's proposed map on the right. The governor's version would result in 4 more Republican House seats than currently held, changing the state's delegation from 16 to 20 Republican seats. One of the Democrats set to lose their seats, should DeSantis succeed, is current 5th District Representative Al Lawson. His district, stretching from Tallahassee to Jacksonville, is drawn out of existence, replaced by safe Republican seats. Another black majority district, the 10th, is also erased. So far, Senate Republicans seem set on ignoring DeSantis's map, moving forward with a version that would maintain their 16-seat hold. However, DeSantis has the power to veto congressional maps, something he may do in order to boost his national image among Republicans hoping to take back the House this fall. Thank you for watching. If this video has been at all helpful or informative, please consider supporting me on Patreon.